So there's this guy on YouTube.
His name is Paul Elkins, and he has seemingly millions of different little DIY projects that he's posted on his YouTube channel over the years. One of them is this little one-person kayak that he made out of the same material that I make the paddles for my pipe instrument out of. It's this campaign sign plastic. And as it turns out, he actually has plans for this on his website, and they were only $10.
Here she is, and I named her Soggy Paradise. Okay, so this is the first prototype of the boat that I have tried to make. I will link down in the description where you can buy the plans for this thing. It's just made out of one 4x8 sheet of campaign sign plastic. And I'm intending to get pretty soggy on this trip. Just fold it up, held together with some zip ties. You have a seat, and then there's a crossbar up front. Oh, out of the same plastic, I just cut it down into some shapes. And there's two pieces that I have zip tied back to back. So this is just a piece of 3/4 inch PVC, and I kind of spray painted it to give it like some kind of color because it was just gray and it looked kind of boring.
Maiden voyage of the Soggy Paradise. This is your captain speaking.
We're dry so far. This thing's pretty unstable. Oh man, it's really shifty when you paddle.
You needed longer paddles, maybe.
Widen out these the propellers on the ends a little bit, and also these are pretty rough on my arms, so I'm gonna get some kind of foam or something to cover those. And then there's some other little improvements I might think of along the way, and I'll let you know. All right, future self, I just want to leave a quick note. The armrests are actually in the original plans for this thing. I just forgot to put them on the first time. That's a lot better. So for the paddles, I took the plastic propellers off of the original one. I put them on a pipe twice as long, cut that long pipe in half, and I put one of these slip couplers on it, and I have a screw in there to hold it onto the pipe without having to use regular PVC glue. These holes that I have drilled in, and they match the holes on the other side of the propeller, and then you just use a zip tie to hold it together. So you can see the little screw in there, and the way I do it is I angle this so that the zip tie comes in front of the screw, and then I just push it down with a finger so that it comes out that hole. Pull it through, and then put the zip tie back in through this way. That way they don't come apart, but you still have a fully extended paddle that you can use to propel yourself forward in the water. The other thing I really wanted to change was this little center support. It was just this triangular shape with a support in the middle, just to kind of help keep the sides from bowing outward. And you can see in this picture of me just sitting on the garage floor, it bowed out, let alone, it did bow out in the water a little bit when I first sat down before I set this down on the sides to keep the sides straight. Another note, in Paul's video about the plans for this boat, he mentioned that he weighs 170 pounds, give or take, and anybody that weighs more than that should use caution if you're going to try to sit inside this thing. Well, I weigh just a little over 200, and man, I'm just barely able to keep myself upright in this thing. But even if you're up to like 220 or 230, that probably shouldn't dissuade you from trying to build one of these, because the water level stayed, a lot lower than I expected it. I figured it would be, closer up top, because this is where most of the seating weight is, but it stayed probably at least in like the lower third of this back wall. You can see the grooves that I had cut down in here that were supposed to match up with the ones on the center support. So my solution to replace this was to use a piece of 3/4 inch pipe, and you can see how I had some more of these hardware pieces screwed in here to make this little gap. You can see here how I use that gap to use these zip ties to hold the pipe to the two side walls of the boat. And then here is a video of me doing a controlled sink test off to the side, and then here's one of me trying to sink it from the back. And the amazing thing is that after I sunk it the first time, I just pulled it out of the lake, poured out all the water, went right back in, and it stayed afloat. If you decide to make one of these, I would still definitely recommend wearing some kind of flotation device, just because, It is a prototype product. I've been able to fix it a little bit so that it holds up to my size, but then of course your results may vary. Again, the plans for all of this are in the description if you want to go buy them from the original person who designed this. His channel is also linked below with tons of other projects as well. Go show him some love. And then one last thing, I am going to build a second one of these, which is going to have a lot more improvements that I'm going to talk about in the next video. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to see that, and then I'll see you in that video.